I felt her shift again, turning in her sleep until her face nestled gently into the crook of my neck, breath warm against my skin, her body curled around mine like she belonged there. Every night it was the same, yet every night it still felt new and terrifyingly intimate. She had a boyfriend, a good one, everyone said, but every evening, when the world quieted, she somehow always found her way back to my bed. Tonight, as her arm tightened unconsciously around my waist, something deep inside me twisted painfully. It wasn't just affection or friendship anymore. It was something deeper, something raw, and entirely too real. She murmured softly, incomprehensible words brushing my collarbone, and a shiver raced down my spine. I should have woken her, gently shaken her shoulder, and reminded her she had someone else to dream beside. But I never did. Instead, I lay perfectly still, heart racing, terrified she'd wake up and find the truth written plainly across my face, that each night, as she slept peacefully beside me, I fell a little harder in love with her. Her name was Maya, and we'd been inseparable since our first awkward encounter in high school, back when friendship was simple and untainted by hidden feelings. Even then, I'd known there was something different about us. The way we fit together, the way we laughed too hard, lingered too long. But Maya had never seemed to notice. Or maybe she chose not to. Now, in our tiny apartment we shared just outside campus, things had become infinitely more complicated. I'd seen Maya through heartbreaks and triumphs, holding her hand in the shadows, wiping away tears I wished I could kiss from her face. And then she'd met Tyler. He was sweet, safe, and predictable, everything I wasn't. If you enjoyed this content and want to support the channel in a special way, try clicking the thanks button below. It's the one with the heart and $sign icon. With super thanks, you can make a direct contribution to the channel, which helps me keep creating awesome videos for you. He treated her well, and Maya seemed happy enough. But every night, like clockwork, her gentle knock came at my door. "Can't sleep," she'd whisper softly, eyes wide with vulnerability, and I'd always let her in, no questions asked, even though each night it hurt a little more to pretend this wasn't breaking my heart. Tonight, as the street lamp's muted glow filtered through my bedroom window, casting Maya's features in soft silver, I finally allowed myself a moment to truly look at her. Her dark hair spilled over the pillow, tangling gently around my fingers as if begging to be touched. Her eyelashes, impossibly long, cast shadows over her flushed cheeks, lips parted slightly in sleep. She looked peaceful, unaware of the storm she stirred within me. Without warning, she shifted closer, hand sliding slowly up my side, resting just beneath my ribs. My breath caught, heart thudding painfully. Her fingertips brushed my bare skin under my sleep shirt, sending a jolt of electricity through every nerve ending. My whole body screamed for more, begged for a closeness I knew I had no right to crave. Don't go," she whispered sleepily, words muffled against my neck. My chest tightened. She spoke like this sometimes, always half dreaming, unaware how her pleas tore at my heart. She always returned to Tyler by morning, pretending nothing had changed. But for me, each night left deeper scars. Tonight, I finally allowed myself to imagine what it might be like if I told her the truth. How it might feel if instead of merely comforting her, I confessed exactly how desperately I loved her. Would she run away? Hate me? Or, terrifyingly, would she feel the same? I didn't realize I'd started trembling until her eyes fluttered open, instantly wide and concerned. "Hey," she murmured, voice thick with sleep. "Are you okay?" I nodded quickly, forcing a smile.
"Yeah, just cold, I guess."
Without another word, she wrapped her arms tighter around me, pulling our bodies impossibly closer until her warmth enveloped me entirely. I bit my lip hard, fighting back tears as she nestled her face once more against my neck. It was torture, beautiful and devastating, to hold the one person I wanted most in the world but knew I couldn't have. Morning arrived too quickly, golden light creeping through the curtains to reveal Maya's gentle movements as she woke. She smiled softly at me, eyes still hazy with dreams. "Morning," she whispered, brushing tangled strands from my forehead. My heart clenched painfully. "Morning." Maya studied my face carefully, a shadow passing over her expression. "Everything okay? You look different." Panic surged through me. Had she finally noticed? Could she read the longing etched across my face? I forced my voice steady, shrugging casually. "Just tired, I guess. Didn't sleep much." She laughed quietly, squeezing my hand.
Sorry.
"I always invade your space, don't I?" I swallowed hard, fighting back the urge to confess everything. "I don't mind." Her expression softened further, eyes gentle, yet strangely intense. "You're always here for me. I don't know what I'd do without you." I forced another shaky smile, chest aching. "I'll always be here." But as Maya reluctantly slipped from my bed, heading to the kitchen to call Tyler, my carefully built facade began to crack. Watching her leave felt like ripping my heart open again and again, and suddenly, hiding wasn't enough. Something had to change, even if it meant risking everything. Because this wasn't friendship anymore. It hadn't been for a long time. And as I lay there alone, the sheets cold where Maya had been moments before, I made a decision. No matter the cost, I would tell her the truth. Tonight. No more pretending, no more secrets, no more silent heartbreak. If I lost her, it would break me, but this torture was unsustainable. I was in love with Maya, and tonight, for better or worse, she would finally know. The entire day felt impossibly long, stretching endlessly between each moment of anxious anticipation and gut-wrenching dread. Maya had spent the morning talking cheerfully on the phone with Tyler, her laughter spilling into every corner of our small apartment like shards of glass in my chest. Every note of happiness in her voice echoed painfully inside me, reminding me of everything I wasn't, everything I couldn't offer. Still, I smiled and nodded at the appropriate moments, pretending my heart wasn't splitting open each time I heard her say, "I miss you too." Afterward, Maya left for class, dropping a quick kiss on my cheek on her way out, casual and effortless, as if she hadn't spent the night wrapped around me. Her lips lingered just a fraction of a second longer than usual, enough to send a confusing pulse of heat rushing through my veins, enough to make me wonder if it was accidental or if she, too, was fighting feelings she couldn't yet name. Left alone, I tried to focus on coursework, but my mind kept drifting to tonight and the impossible confession I'd promised myself I would finally make. I replayed the scenarios endlessly, each outcome worse than the last. Would she smile awkwardly and gently push me away? Would her eyes widen in shock, horror replacing warmth? Or worst of all, would she pity me, apologize softly for never having realized, and then slowly distance herself until even our friendship felt like a memory I had only imagined? The thought of losing Maya was unbearable, yet the agony of loving her secretly had become too overwhelming to carry. Hours passed, the sunlight slowly fading into a muted twilight, shadows creeping across the walls of our apartment as evening settled in. My anxiety grew sharper, every second dragging painfully until finally, mercifully, the sound of Maya's keys jingling in the lock pulled me from my anxious thoughts. I held my breath as the door swung open, and she stepped inside, looking exhausted but radiant, a soft, relieved smile spreading across her face when she saw me. "Hey," she said gently, dropping her bag by the door and moving toward me, instinctively closing the distance between us. "God, I missed you today." Her words, simple and honest, pierced me deeply, a strange mix of joy and anguish swirling in my chest. "Missed me?" I echoed weakly, my heart hammering painfully against my ribs. Maya smiled shyly, a faint blush coloring her cheeks as she shrugged, eyes flicking away briefly.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but today felt off somehow, like something was missing. I swallowed hard, trying to steady my voice, daring myself to take the leap. "Maya, can we talk?" Her expression softened into immediate concern, eyebrows knitting together as she stepped even closer. "Of course. What's wrong? You're scaring me a little." My courage nearly faltered as her hand reached for mine, fingers tangling effortlessly, familiar warmth flooding my body. But I forced myself to continue, voice trembling slightly with the weight of the truth I'd carried too long. There's something I've been needing to tell you for a while. Something I should have said sooner. Her eyes searched mine, wide and worried, fingers tightening gently around mine in silent encouragement. You can tell me anything, you know that. I nodded slowly, throat tight, heart racing. You're my best friend, Maya. You've always been there for me, through everything. And I've tried so hard not to ruin this, to keep pretending everything's fine. But I can't anymore. Maya's gaze deepened, confusion and concern mingling in her eyes. Pretending what? You're making me nervous. I inhaled sharply, the words tumbling out before I lost my nerve. Pretending I don't love you. That every night you spend curled up beside me doesn't drive me crazy, doesn't make me want more than just friendship. That watching you with Tyler isn't killing me inside. The silence that followed was deafening, unbearable. Maya's eyes widened in shock, lips parting softly, her breath hitching as she processed my words. Panic surged through me, tears welling in my eyes as I desperately backtracked. I'm sorry. I didn't mean, I shouldn't have. But before I could finish, Maya's fingers tightened fiercely around mine, pulling me closer with unexpected intensity, eyes blazing with emotions I'd never seen before. Wait, please don't apologize. Not yet. Not until I've figured this out. Her voice was breathless, uncertain, but she didn't release me, didn't step away. Instead, she moved closer, hesitation battling with something deeper, rawer. You've been feeling this way the whole time? She asked quietly, a tremble in her voice betraying hidden vulnerability. Every night. I nodded slowly, heart pounding painfully.
Yes.
Every night. She stared at me in stunned silence, eyes filled with something unreadable. Then, finally, softly, she asked, why didn't you ever say anything sooner? I was terrified, I admitted brokenly. Terrified I'd lose you. Terrified you wouldn't feel the same. Terrified you'd hate me for complicating things. She shook her head gently, eyes shimmering with sudden tears. Hate you? You're everything to me. I don't even know how to process this yet. All I know is you've always been the one person I couldn't bear losing. Her words, tender and cautious, sparked hope deep within me, mingling with fear. I took another breath, daring myself to ask the impossible. And Tyler? Maya flinched slightly, guilt flashing briefly across her face before being replaced by painful honesty. I care about him. He's been kind and sweet. But even when I'm with him, even when I try to convince myself he's enough, I'm always thinking about you. Wondering what you'd say, what you'd think. Wishing I was with you instead. Her confession hung in the air between us, heavy and transformative, reshaping everything we thought we knew. Carefully, Maya lifted her other hand to brush gently across my cheek, eyes searching mine intently. Is this really happening? Are we really doing this? Only if you want it to, I whispered, terrified and hopeful in equal measure. Slowly, Maya leaned forward, her lips hovering just inches from mine, warm breath brushing my skin. I think I've wanted this longer than I've ever let myself admit. And then, softly, finally, she kissed me. Our lips met gently, tentatively at first, and then with growing intensity, desperation and relief flooding through both of us as the reality of our feelings finally collided. Maya kissed me like she was discovering something she'd always secretly hoped existed, her body melting effortlessly into mine, every fear and hesitation dissolving beneath the undeniable rightness of the moment. And as I held her, felt her heartbeat racing against my chest, I knew everything had changed forever. But for the first time, I wasn't scared. Because Maya was in my arms, kissing me with all the passion, tenderness, and love I'd dreamed about for so long. And I finally understood this was exactly where we belonged. The kiss changed everything, not just in that perfect moment when her lips met mine, soft and certain, but in every heartbeat that followed. It felt as if my entire world had been rewritten, each breath suddenly sweeter, each touch deeper and more meaningful. Maya's fingers trailed gently down my jaw, guiding my lips closer, deepening our kiss with a tenderness that made my knees weak. Her breathing quickened, matching my own frantic heartbeat, both of us lost in the undeniable truth we'd finally revealed. After what felt like both eternity and not nearly long enough, Maya pulled back, her breath trembling, eyes wide with disbelief and wonder. "Is this real?" she whispered, her voice barely audible above the pounding of our hearts. I smiled gently, my thumb brushing softly over her flushed cheek. "It's as real as I've ever felt anything in my life," I said softly, holding her gaze with unwavering certainty. Maya closed her eyes briefly, a shaky breath escaping her lips before opening them again, her gaze vulnerable and open. "I should feel guilty. Tyler, he doesn't deserve this," she said, her voice trembling slightly, revealing the turmoil inside her heart. A pang of guilt twisted inside my chest, sharp and painful. I'd spent weeks resenting Tyler for being the person Maya chose, for being the safe option who could hold her hand in public without fear, for being the one whose name she said effortlessly when asked about love. Yet now, hearing her guilt, I felt my own sharply, realizing for the first time how complicated the web we'd woven truly was. "I understand," I said gently, my voice strained but honest. "He deserves honesty, and so do you." Maya nodded slowly, eyes shimmering with tears as she grappled with the reality of what our kiss meant. "I know. I just don't know how to explain this to him, how to tell him the truth without hurting him deeply. He's done nothing wrong." "But you can't control your feelings," I whispered softly, fingers gently squeezing her hand, grounding her. "We didn't choose this. We fought it." "I know I did." Maya let out a shaky laugh, eyes full of affection. "You have no idea how many nights I lay awake next to you, desperate to touch you, to feel you close, and how scared I was that I'd lose you if I ever admitted it." My breath caught painfully at her words, chest tightening as the reality of how deeply she'd felt mirrored my own agony perfectly. "You felt that way too?" Maya smiled softly, shaking her head in disbelief. "Every night. You were never just comfort to me. You were always the person I loved most, even when I convinced myself I didn't. Tyler was safe, predictable. You're terrifying and exhilarating, the one thing I was afraid I'd never have the courage to reach for." I stepped closer, heart swelling painfully with her confession, fingertips brushing lightly across her cheek again. "And now." Maya leaned into my touch, her eyes drifting closed briefly before meeting mine once more, filled with quiet resolve. "Now, I can't imagine living without this feeling. Without you." For several seconds, neither of us moved, savoring the truth we'd just uncovered. Finally, I took a deep breath, heart aching with the inevitable. "You need to talk to him," I said quietly, hating myself for breaking our newfound intimacy with harsh reality. Maya nodded slowly, tears finally spilling over, tracing gentle paths down her face. "You're right. He deserves better than being lied to." I gently wiped her tears away, heart twisting painfully as I felt the weight of what we'd unleashed pressing down upon us. "I'll be here when you get back. Whatever happens, I'm not going anywhere." She smiled weakly, nodding with quiet determination. "I love you," she whispered softly, the words filling me with warmth and relief so profound it nearly knocked me breathless. "I love you too," I replied quietly, and with one final kiss filled with promise, Maya reluctantly stepped back, reaching for her keys and phone with visibly trembling hands. I watched her walk out the door, feeling simultaneously lighter and heavier than I ever had. The hours that followed felt like years. I paced the apartment anxiously, imagining every possible scenario Maya might face. My mind conjured visions of Tyler's hurt expression, his anger, his betrayal, and my stomach churned with anxiety and guilt. But I also imagined Maya's courage, her gentle, firm honesty, her choosing me openly, finally free from the secrets that had trapped us both. The sun set, casting the apartment in shadows. Still no word from Maya. I checked my phone obsessively, worry gnawing at my edges. What if she'd changed her mind? What if the weight of hurting Tyler was too much, too overwhelming for her gentle heart to handle? Doubts crept in, insidious and cruel, whispering that perhaps she decided that the safe choice was the better one. Just as the fear became nearly unbearable, my phone buzzed, making me jump. My hands shook violently as I answered. Maya's voice came through, quiet and strained, but unwaveringly clear. "Can you meet me outside?" I practically ran out the door, racing down the stairs and into the soft twilight, my heart pounding wildly. Maya stood beneath a street lamp, bathed in gentle golden light, looking exhausted and vulnerable, but heartbreakingly beautiful. Without a word, I closed the distance, pulling her into my arms. Maya sank into me immediately, clutching me tightly, face pressed against my shoulder. "Is everything okay?" I asked softly, dreading her answer. She nodded slowly, pulling back just enough to meet my eyes, her gaze filled with both sadness and certainty. It was hard. He was hurt, angry, confused. He had every right to be. But he understood eventually. He said he knew, deep down, that something was missing between us. And he's glad I found it, even if it wasn't with him. My chest loosened slightly, relief flooding through me despite the pain of knowing someone had been hurt. "Are you okay?" Maya took a deep breath, leaning into my embrace, voice soft and thoughtful. "I feel guilty for hurting him, but more than anything, I feel free, like a weight's been lifted. For the first time, I can finally breathe." I kissed her forehead tenderly, holding her close, breathing in the reality of our new beginning. "So, now it's just us," I whispered softly. Maya smiled gently, eyes brightening with something like hope. "Just us." Together, we walked back inside, hand in hand, hearts still raw but finally honest. That night, as Maya curled up beside me, no secrets or unspoken feelings between us, everything felt right. This was how it was always meant to be. Her warmth against my skin, her steady heartbeat matching mine, her whispered declarations of love softly painting our future together. Maya fell asleep easily, nestled against me as always. But tonight, there was no pain, no uncertainty, just perfect clarity and a quiet, profound joy. As I held her, feeling her steady breathing and the gentle rise and fall of her chest, I realized that loving Maya had always been inevitable. But now, it was finally free, unburdened, and utterly perfect. And I knew, without a doubt, this was only the beginning. The weeks following our confession passed like a beautiful dream, full of quiet intimacy and whispered promises. Maya and I slowly adapted to the profound change in our relationship, the transition from friends to lovers feeling simultaneously exhilarating and natural, as though we'd always been meant for exactly this. Each night, Maya would curl into my arms openly now, no longer needing the excuse of sleeplessness. Her presence became a constant, reassuring warmth that chased away every shadow of doubt. Every touch, every lingering glance, every stolen kiss in the quiet moments of our shared home felt precious, and I treasured each one. Still, we moved carefully, navigating the shift in our connection with sensitivity and patience. Maya carried residual guilt over Tyler, sometimes falling quiet in the midst of laughter, her expression distant. I always held her closer in those moments, gently reminding her with my touch that it was okay to mourn something even while celebrating something else. But as the days turned into weeks, Maya's guilt faded gradually into acceptance and eventually, radiant happiness. Our friends noticed the change first, commenting casually on how Maya seemed lighter, happier, more herself than ever before. They teased us gently, unaware of the deeper truth, attributing our closeness to nothing more than friendship. We didn't correct them immediately, both of us quietly savoring the secrecy for a while longer, enjoying the warmth of our hidden truth before exposing it to the rest of the world. One evening, after a long day of classes, Maya returned home, eyes sparkling mischievously, a secretive smile playing on her lips. She dropped her backpack dramatically onto the couch, collapsing beside me and draping herself effortlessly across my lap. "I told someone about us today," she confessed suddenly, her voice playful yet cautious, eyes carefully searching mine for a reaction. My heart fluttered nervously at the revelation, fingers instinctively tangling in her hair as I studied her face.
Who?
I asked softly, curiosity and anxiety twisting in my stomach. Maya smiled warmly, her expression reassuring as she reached up to gently caress my cheek. Leah, she said quietly, referring to one of our closest friends. She noticed the way we were looking at each other and asked if something had changed between us. I couldn't lie. I didn't want to. My chest tightened slightly, knowing that our private bubble was beginning to break, but also feeling immense relief at no longer needing to hide from those we cared about. How did she react? Maya's smile widened further, eyes sparkling with joy. She hugged me immediately and said she'd been waiting years for us to figure it out. Apparently, we weren't as subtle as we thought. Laughter bubbled up between us then, lightening the atmosphere, chasing away my lingering anxiety. I leaned down, kissing her softly, savoring the effortless sweetness of our shared happiness. I guess we weren't very good at pretending, I murmured gently, fingers tracing along her jawline affectionately. Maya grinned mischievously, shifting slightly to pull me down onto the couch beside her. Our bodies pressed close together, perfectly fitted. Maybe we never really wanted to hide it, she whispered, her lips brushing softly against mine, sending electric shivers through every nerve in my body. Each kiss felt like a new discovery, every touch carrying a deeper meaning now that our love was openly acknowledged, if only by one other person. Slowly, carefully, we began letting others in, each revelation met with varying degrees of surprise, amusement, and overwhelming support. Soon, our closest friends knew the truth, celebrating our newfound happiness without hesitation. Despite this growing openness, we remained cautious in public, aware of the lingering prejudices and uncomfortable stares we occasionally drew when our fingers brushed too intimately in crowded places. But as time passed, our courage grew stronger, bolstered by the unwavering acceptance of those who mattered most. We found new joy in simple acts of affection, holding hands openly at a quiet cafe, stealing brief kisses beneath the stars after a movie, gently leaning against each other on the subway during the long rides home. One particularly chilly evening, we attended a small party hosted by mutual friends, arriving hand in hand, hearts racing with nervous excitement. It felt significant, like another boundary we decided to cross together. People glanced curiously at first, but no one said anything unkind. Instead, we were met with warmth and casual acceptance, the comfort of knowing we were truly seen as a couple washing over us both in calming waves. Later, as we walked home beneath a sky heavy with stars, Maya stopped suddenly, pulling me close beneath the gentle glow of a street lamp. Her eyes shone brightly, filled with deep emotion as she wrapped her arms around my waist, pulling our bodies intimately close. "I've never felt so happy," she murmured softly, her voice trembling slightly with vulnerability and sincerity. "I spent so long convincing myself this wasn't possible, that loving you openly would always be a dream." My heart surged painfully with love, fingers gently brushing stray strands of hair from her eyes, my voice soft yet fiercely certain. "It's not a dream anymore. It's real, Maya, and it's ours. No one can take this away from us." She smiled beautifully then, radiant beneath the pale glow, leaning forward to kiss me gently, passionately, perfectly. "I love you," she whispered breathlessly against my lips, the words carrying the weight of everything we'd faced to reach this moment. "I love you too," I whispered back, sealing our vows with another tender kiss, a promise silently made beneath the quiet witness of stars. Back in our apartment that night, Maya curled comfortably into my embrace, her breathing steady and deep, a soft sigh of contentment escaping her lips as sleep began to claim her. Just before drifting off, she murmured quietly, almost dreamily, "This feels like forever. Promise me it'll stay like this." I squeezed her gently, heart swelling with profound emotion as I whispered softly into the darkness, "I promise. Forever, Maya. Just like this." And as sleep claimed us both, wrapped in each other's arms, I knew with unshakable certainty that this was only the beginning of our beautiful forever. The journey ahead would undoubtedly hold challenges, but together, hand in hand, hearts beating as one, we could face anything. Because our love was strong enough to weather any storm, to overcome any fear. It was powerful, unstoppable, and finally free. Maya was mine, and I was hers. And no matter what the future brought, we would face it together, with courage, honesty, and endless, unconditional love. As Maya and I settled into the comfort of our new relationship, the world around us began to subtly shift, molding itself to the newfound openness we had embraced. Life became both simpler and infinitely richer, each shared glance more meaningful, each gentle touch now free from secrecy, holding profound intimacy. Our daily routines took on new colors and shades, illuminated by the knowledge that we were no longer hiding. Friends quickly adjusted to our relationship, treating us as though we'd always been a couple, laughing gently at the notion it had taken us so long to realize our feelings. Maya blossomed beside me, her confidence visibly growing with each passing day. She smiled more brightly, laughed more freely, and seemed lighter, as if a weight she'd carried unknowingly had finally lifted. Yet despite our growing happiness, remnants of the past lingered subtly. Occasionally, Maya would become quiet, eyes distant, lost in thought. I always knew in those moments that Tyler was still present somewhere in the corners of her heart, not as someone she missed romantically, but as someone whose friendship and trust she had deeply valued. It was in one of those quiet moments, curled together on our sofa beneath a shared blanket, that Maya finally spoke her lingering truth. Her head rested comfortably against my shoulder, her fingers absently tracing delicate patterns along my arm. "I think I should talk to Tyler again," she said softly, voice tinged with uncertainty. My heart skipped uneasily, though I understood completely. Gently, I brushed my fingers through her hair, offering silent reassurance. "I think that's probably a good idea. Closure might help both of you move forward fully." She nodded slowly, lifting her head to meet my eyes, sincerity and anxiety mingling openly in her expression. "You wouldn't mind? I know it's strange, me wanting to talk to him, but I hate feeling like things ended badly." I smiled warmly, shaking my head gently. "I trust you completely, Maya. He was important to you, and it's okay to honor that by speaking with him." Maya's shoulders visibly relaxed, relief washing over her features. She leaned up, kissing me softly, tenderly. "Thank you for understanding. I promise it's only about closure, nothing else." Her voice was firm, eyes resolute, and I knew she meant it completely. Later that week, Maya arranged to meet Tyler at a small cafe near campus, a place neutral and familiar where they could speak comfortably. I waited anxiously at home, my mind creating endless scenarios, both reassuring and frightening. Despite my trust, the insecurity that often accompanies new relationships crept in, whispering doubts. Yet each time anxiety flared, I reminded myself of Maya's love, her honesty, and the profound certainty I'd seen in her eyes each day since we'd openly committed ourselves to each other. After what felt like an eternity, Maya returned home. She walked through the door slowly, expression thoughtful, but not troubled. Immediately, my tension eased, replaced by cautious curiosity. Maya smiled softly when she saw me, crossing the room to take my hand, pulling me down gently beside her onto the couch. "It went well," she began quietly, choosing her words carefully. "Tyler and I talked honestly. He admitted that he always sensed something between us, something deeper than friendship, even if he hadn't wanted to see it." Her eyes softened as she squeezed my hand gently, continuing softly. "He said he's okay, that he's moving forward and genuinely hopes we're happy." And I told him how grateful I was for his kindness and how sorry I was for causing him pain. I exhaled slowly, relief flooding through me, mingling with admiration at her courage and compassion. "How do you feel now?" I asked softly, gently brushing a strand of hair from her face. Maya smiled gently, the tension visibly leaving her body as she leaned comfortably against me.
"Free.
For the first time, completely free. Like every chapter is finally closed, and now there's only us, with no shadows from the past lingering between us. My heart swelled at her words, warmth spreading through every fiber of my being as I gently tilted her chin upwards, meeting her gaze intently. Then, let's start writing our story, Maya. Just us, from here forward. Her eyes sparkled beautifully, voice soft yet fiercely determined. I can't wait. From that day, our relationship blossomed more fully, shedding every lingering hint of guilt or secrecy. Maya openly held my hand as we walked through the campus gardens, kissed me freely beneath sun-drenched skies, and proudly introduced me as her girlfriend without hesitation. Friends smiled knowingly, our happiness radiating outward, becoming contagious. Every moment together felt meaningful, deeply precious, filled with shared dreams and quiet hopes. Weeks turned into months, our love deepening steadily, growing stronger each day. I discovered new parts of Maya, her quiet strength, her unwavering loyalty, the endless compassion she carried for everyone around her. And Maya uncovered layers within me as well, my vulnerability, my hidden fears, my profound gratitude for finally finding a love so genuine and all-encompassing. One evening, as we lay beneath a blanket of stars during a weekend trip to the countryside, Maya nestled close, voice soft yet full of emotion as she gazed upwards thoughtfully. Do you ever think about how many tiny things had to line up perfectly for us to find each other? She asked quietly, her voice almost reverent. I squeezed her gently, breathing deeply, savoring the cool night air and her warmth beside me. Constantly. It feels like fate finally gave us permission to love openly. Maya smiled gently, her voice filled with quiet certainty. I don't think we ever needed permission, just courage. And now that we have it, nothing can stop us. My heart ached beautifully at her words, tears of joy prickling my eyes. I turned slightly, meeting her gaze, capturing the earnest sincerity reflected there. You're right, I whispered softly. Together, we can face anything. Our love is powerful enough to survive any storm. Maya leaned forward, lips brushing softly against mine, her kiss gentle yet deeply meaningful. Then let's promise, she murmured softly, eyes shining beneath the starlight, to never hide again, to always face the world openly, honestly, together. I promise, I whispered back, sealing our vow with another tender kiss, heart swelling with profound love and happiness. Later, as we lay intertwined, feeling the gentle rhythm of each other's breathing, I understood with perfect clarity just how profoundly our lives had changed. Maya had always been my closest friend, my confidant, the person who understood me best. Now, she was also my lover, my partner, my greatest source of joy and strength. As sleep gently claimed us beneath that endless sky, wrapped warmly in each other's embrace, I knew without doubt that our future was beautiful and infinite. Together, Maya and I had faced every fear, every challenge, and emerged stronger, wiser, and utterly committed. Our love, born in quiet yearning and nurtured through shared bravery, was now vibrant and unbreakable. Maya was my forever, and in her eyes I knew she saw the same certainty reflected. Our journey had only begun, but whatever lay ahead, we would walk side by side, hearts united, facing each new day with hope, courage, and the profound, unshakable truth that love had finally brought us home. The following months were a blur of tender moments and quiet discoveries, each day building a foundation stronger and deeper than either Maya or I had ever imagined possible. Our relationship, now open and embraced by those closest to us, flourished beautifully, becoming an undeniable part of our shared identity. We began making plans openly, dreaming aloud about the future we now confidently envisioned together. Conversations once whispered secretly in the darkness became joyful discussions at breakfast tables and beneath afternoon sunbeams, laughter filling every quiet corner of our shared space. With every shared dream, plans to travel, imaginations of a life together beyond graduation, the idea of a small home somewhere quiet, filled with laughter, books, and morning kisses. We became more inseparable, our hearts binding more tightly. Still, life wasn't without its complexities. The transition from friendship to romance brought occasional bumps, small insecurities surfacing unexpectedly. Maya's lingering guilt over her past relationship occasionally cast shadows, while my own insecurities would sometimes surface, questioning if I was truly enough, if our perfect happiness was somehow fleeting or fragile. Yet every uncertainty was met head-on with compassion and open communication. We learned quickly to talk through each concern openly, holding space for the vulnerability necessary for true intimacy. And each time we emerged stronger, reassured, deeply connected by the honesty we fiercely protected. One afternoon, Maya returned from class, clearly troubled. She entered quietly, her normally vibrant presence subdued, shoulders tense. Immediately sensing her distress, I set aside my books, concern quickly filling my chest. "Hey, what's wrong?" I asked gently, reaching for her hand, my voice soft and reassuring. Maya hesitated briefly, then sighed deeply, leaning into my touch gratefully, seeking comfort instinctively in my presence. "I saw Tyler today," she admitted softly, eyes downcast, guilt etched across her features. My heart tightened instinctively, though I remained calm, gently squeezing her fingers, silently urging her to continue. He seemed okay, genuinely okay. But there was a sadness too. He asked about us, how we were doing, and it just hurt seeing him still feeling something. Her voice trembled slightly, eyes misting gently as she struggled to find words. I guess part of me hoped he was completely over it, that he wouldn't feel anything anymore. I reached gently to touch her cheek, lifting her eyes to mine, voice tender yet firm. "It's okay to care, Maya. You shared something meaningful. It's human to feel empathy. You don't have to erase your past to be happy in the present." Her expression softened immediately, eyes filling with gratitude as she exhaled slowly, relief visible in her posture. "Thank you. I needed to hear that." I smiled warmly, leaning in to press a gentle kiss to her forehead. We're both allowed our pasts. It doesn't diminish what we have. It just makes it more honest, more real. Maya relaxed further, her smile returning gradually, the tension slowly leaving her body. That evening, curled together on our sofa, Maya rested her head on my shoulder, fingers tracing lazy patterns along my thigh as we quietly enjoyed each other's presence. "I never imagined we'd end up here," she murmured softly, voice thoughtful, reflective. "But now, I can't imagine being anywhere else." I smiled gently, my voice filled with quiet joy. "Me neither. It feels like everything before now was just preparing us for this, for each other." Maya tilted her head, meeting my eyes warmly, her gaze intense and filled with tender sincerity. "Do you ever wonder if it took us too long to get here? Like maybe we wasted time we could have spent together?" I shook my head slowly, fingers gently tracing her jawline affectionately. "No, never wasted. We needed that time. We needed every experience to shape us into who we are now, ready for this love." Her expression softened beautifully, eyes shimmering gently. "You always know exactly what to say," she whispered softly, voice filled with quiet admiration. Leaning in, I captured her lips tenderly, kissing her deeply, pouring all my love and reassurance into the connection. "I just know it's true," I murmured softly as we broke apart, our foreheads pressed together gently. As our love continued to grow, Maya and I faced new milestones, introducing each other formally to our families, navigating new experiences as a committed couple. Visiting her family for the first time as her girlfriend was nerve-wracking, yet they welcomed me warmly, recognizing the happiness Maya radiated effortlessly. My own family embraced Maya wholeheartedly, loving her instantly, drawn to her warmth and authenticity. Each milestone we reached together strengthened our bond further, reassuring us both that the path we'd chosen was exactly right. Our shared happiness became evident to everyone around us, friends often teasing gently about how inseparable we had become. One afternoon, Maya surprised me, pulling me gently into a small jewelry shop downtown. Her eyes sparkled mischievously, excitement dancing openly across her features. "What's this?" I asked curiously, smiling gently as she squeezed my hand eagerly. Maya guided me toward a small glass display filled with delicate rings, her voice soft yet deeply earnest. I wanted to do something special, something to symbolize how serious I am about us. Not marriage, not yet anyway, but something to show everyone how committed we really are. My breath caught softly, warmth flooding my chest as I studied her expression, filled with profound sincerity and hopeful anticipation. I smiled warmly, heart swelling with love and gratitude. I'd love that. Together, we selected two simple yet beautiful rings, elegant bands engraved subtly with our initials. Slipping them onto each other's fingers felt profoundly symbolic, a quiet promise shared between us. Later, walking hand in hand beneath the golden sunset, Maya leaned gently against me, sighing softly in contentment. "This feels perfect," she murmured quietly, voice filled with deep satisfaction and happiness. "It does," I whispered back, heart swelling with joy. "Everything feels perfect now." Returning home that evening, we lay quietly together in bed, our rings glinting softly in the moonlight filtering through the curtains. Maya nestled close, fingers intertwining gently with mine, our newly exchanged rings pressed intimately between us. "I've never felt so certain about anything," she whispered quietly into the darkness, voice soft yet fiercely resolute. "I want this forever." My heart surged beautifully, warmth spreading gently throughout my entire being as I held her tighter, voice tender yet unwavering. "Forever sounds perfect," I murmured softly. Maya exhaled deeply, settling fully into my embrace, voice filled with quiet contentment and sincere promise. "Then let's make forever happen. Every day for the rest of our lives." And as sleep gently claimed us, wrapped tightly in each other's arms, I knew without doubt that forever had already begun. Together, Maya and I had built something real, honest, and unbreakable, a love resilient enough to withstand any uncertainty, strong enough to embrace every future challenge. Our journey had only just begun, yet I already knew its end was infinitely beautiful, filled with endless possibilities and perfect happiness, all shared openly, fearlessly, and fully embraced. Maya was my forever, and nothing would ever change that truth. As the seasons shifted gently from spring to summer, Maya and I found ourselves growing even closer, our lives increasingly intertwined, every day reinforcing the love and commitment we'd promised one another. The rings we exchanged became symbols we cherished deeply, reminders of the quiet, powerful vows we'd shared. Each morning, waking beside Maya filled me with joy and certainty, the simple act of seeing her sleepy, beautiful smile becoming my favorite moment of each day. Life seemed perfect, a tapestry woven from shared laughter, whispered secrets, and the profound comfort of knowing we'd finally found where we truly belonged, together. Yet as summer approached, an unavoidable truth loomed larger with each passing day: our futures after graduation. Both Maya and I would soon finish our degrees, and with that accomplishment came the reality of significant life decisions. One particularly warm evening, seated together beneath the soft twilight on our apartment balcony, Maya leaned against me gently, voice thoughtful as she stared toward the horizon. "Have you thought much about what's next for us?" she asked softly, a hint of vulnerability hidden beneath casual curiosity. I smiled gently, feeling the tension she carefully concealed. "I've thought about it every day." "Have you?" Maya nodded slowly, fingers playing gently with mine, eyes downcast thoughtfully. "I have. It's exciting but terrifying too. What if life pulls us in different directions? What if we want different things?" Her voice trembled slightly, revealing her genuine fear. I gently tilted her chin upwards, meeting her worried gaze steadily, my voice soft yet fiercely reassuring. "Whatever happens, we'll face it together. We'll talk honestly, make decisions as a team. I don't want anything that doesn't include you." Maya's eyes filled with gratitude, relief softening her tense posture instantly. You always know exactly what to say, she whispered softly, smiling beautifully. Leaning closer, I kissed her tenderly, reassuringly, pouring all my love and commitment into the gentle connection. Because I love you, Maya. And that means building a future together, no matter where life takes us. Encouraged by our promise, we began making plans openly, considering various opportunities, weighing options together. Maya applied for graduate programs locally, while I explored job opportunities nearby, determined to remain close. Each decision felt profoundly meaningful, reaffirming our shared vision of the future. Yet as summer drew nearer, Maya received unexpected news, an offer from a prestigious graduate program in a city several hours away. The acceptance letter brought immediate joy, yet also quiet concern. Watching her open the envelope, eyes wide with excitement mixed with apprehension, my heart twisted gently, recognizing the challenge ahead. Congratulations, I whispered warmly, voice filled with genuine pride despite the uncertainty settling quietly between us. Maya's excitement faltered momentarily, eyes searching mine carefully, worry evident. Are we going to be okay? She asked quietly, voice trembling gently with vulnerability. I smiled softly, taking her hands gently, eyes firm yet reassuring. Of course, we'll make it work. Distance doesn't change how deeply we love each other. Maya sighed softly, visibly relaxing, trust and gratitude filling her expression. I needed to hear that, she whispered softly, leaning forward to kiss me tenderly, deeply, reaffirming our commitment. As summer approached, preparations began. We searched together for apartments near her new university, planned weekend visits meticulously, established routines to keep our connection strong. Despite careful planning, each box packed felt heavy with the weight of impending separation. On our final evening before Maya's departure, emotions ran high. Together, we shared a quiet dinner beneath soft candlelight, savoring each moment, memorizing every glance, every tender touch. Afterward, curled together on our sofa, Maya's head rested gently against my shoulder, voice soft, reflective, carrying a subtle sadness beneath quiet courage. I can't imagine waking up tomorrow without you beside me, she whispered gently, voice trembling slightly. My heart tightened painfully, fingers brushing gently through her hair, offering comfort silently. It's temporary. We'll still wake up thinking of each other, counting days until our next weekend together. Maya sighed softly, nestling closer, seeking reassurance in my embrace. Promise me this won't change anything between us, she murmured gently, voice thick with emotion. Promise me distance won't weaken what we've built. My fingers gently lifted her chin, meeting her worried gaze intently, voice firm yet tender. I promise, Maya. Our love is stronger than any distance. This is only temporary. Her eyes softened beautifully, relief visible as she nodded slowly, trusting completely in our shared commitment. I believe you, she whispered softly, kissing me deeply, reaffirming our shared vow. That night, we lay entwined intimately, savoring every precious moment. Every kiss, every whispered word became a powerful memory, sustaining us through the upcoming separation. Morning arrived too quickly, sunlight filtering gently through curtains, illuminating Maya's sleepy expression beautifully. Waking slowly, she gazed at me silently, eyes shimmering gently, a tender smile curving her lips. Morning, she whispered softly, voice filled with quiet sadness and profound love. Morning, I replied gently, voice trembling slightly, heart aching gently, yet fiercely determined. Ready, Maya sighed softly, nodding slowly, courage visible despite sadness lingering gently in her eyes. Together, we loaded boxes, exchanging gentle glances, quiet smiles, silently reassuring each other throughout the difficult process. Arriving finally at Maya's new apartment, emotions heightened further. Unpacking felt bittersweet, each box opened representing excitement, yet quiet heartache. As evening arrived, reality settled gently, the imminent separation feeling painfully real. Standing together amidst scattered boxes, Maya's expression softened suddenly, voice gentle yet deeply serious. "I don't want a night to feel like an ending," she whispered gently, stepping closer, taking my hands warmly. "I want it to feel like a new beginning, a challenge we're ready to face." My heart surged beautifully, warmth flooding my chest, knowing Maya was right. "It is," I murmured gently, pulling her closer, voice firm yet tender. "This is just the beginning of another chapter, and our story continues, stronger and deeper than ever." Maya's eyes filled with gratitude, nodding firmly, conviction strengthening her resolve visibly. Leaning forward, she kissed me tenderly, deeply, sealing our renewed promise. Later, standing reluctantly at her door, our final moments together felt precious, infinitely valuable. Maya's fingers traced gently along my jaw, eyes filled with profound sincerity. "I love you more every day," she whispered softly, voice filled with unwavering certainty. "Distance won't change that. Ever." My heart surged beautifully, voice thick with emotion, yet fiercely determined. "I love you, Maya. Our love can survive anything." With one final tender kiss, we reluctantly parted, hearts heavy yet deeply hopeful, knowing our separation was temporary. As I drove away slowly, heart aching gently yet courageously resolved, I understood profoundly that this moment was not an ending, merely another step in our beautiful journey. Maya and I were bound by a love powerful enough to overcome any challenge, any distance. Our connection, rooted deeply in honesty, trust, and profound affection, would sustain us until our paths reunited fully again. Together, we'd proven repeatedly our strength, our ability to grow stronger through every trial. Distance now became simply another challenge, one we'd conquer together, hearts united, futures forever intertwined. Our love had always been resilient, enduring. Now it was simply being tested, and we would prove once again just how deeply it was capable of thriving. The first few weeks apart were the hardest. Every day without Maya by my side felt strangely hollow, as though something vital was missing. Our small apartment felt colder, emptier, silent in ways I had never imagined. Waking each morning without her sleepy, gentle smile beside me was difficult, a daily ache I struggled to push aside. Still, true to our promises, Maya and I stayed connected constantly. Calls, texts, video chats. Each conversation became a lifeline, filling the emptiness, bridging the painful gap of distance. Every night, we talked for hours, sharing our days openly, laughing at small details, comforting each other through the loneliness. Maya was thriving academically, her passion evident, despite the longing that colored each update. Knowing she was happy and succeeding brought me joy, even while missing her fiercely. We established routines, creating intimacy across distance, morning messages filled with love, midday check-ins, evening conversations filled with affectionate laughter, whispered dreams, and careful planning for each upcoming reunion. Our weekends together became sacred, precious moments cherished deeply. Traveling to visit Maya was always filled with anticipation, my heart racing as I approached her apartment, eager to see her waiting, smiling gently from the doorway. Our reunions were intensely emotional, filled with warmth and tender relief. Every touch felt electric, every kiss deeper, every glance more meaningful after days spent apart. One particularly rainy weekend, I arrived at Maya's door soaked through, my heart hammering wildly. As the door opened, Maya stood there, radiant despite the storm outside, eyes filled with longing and joy. Without a word, she pulled me inside, wrapping me tightly in her arms, her lips finding mine immediately, kissing me deeply, passionately, pouring all the love and longing from our separation into our embrace. The entire weekend passed beautifully, wrapped warmly in each other's arms, ignoring the world outside completely. On Sunday, before returning home, Maya and I sat quietly, fingers entwined, hearts heavy with the approaching goodbye. Her voice was gentle, soft beneath quiet vulnerability. "Do you ever get scared this won't work?" she asked quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. I squeezed her hand gently, my gaze steady and reassuring. Sometimes. But every fear disappears the moment I see you again. Our love feels stronger every time we're together. Distance can't break what we have. Maya smiled softly, her expression tender yet resolute. I feel the same. It's hard, but every moment with you reminds me exactly why it's worth it. We continued navigating our separation carefully, each week growing slightly easier, routines becoming comforting, reassuring. Yet as time passed, I noticed small shifts within myself. Loneliness grew heavier on the days between visits, doubts occasionally whispering softly in moments of solitude, questioning if love alone could sustain us indefinitely. One evening, feeling particularly isolated, I opened my laptop for our nightly chat, anxiously awaiting Maya's comforting voice and presence. But as her face appeared on screen, tiredness shadowing her normally bright eyes, my heart tightened instinctively, recognizing stress clearly etched across her features. What's wrong? I asked immediately, concern filling my voice. Maya sighed softly, expression hesitant, clearly struggling. I don't want to upset you, she began carefully, voice trembling slightly. But this distance is harder than I thought it would be. Not seeing you daily, missing you constantly, it's wearing me down. Her honesty hit me deeply, resonating instantly. I nodded gently, understanding completely. I know. I feel it too. Every day, every moment. But I'm still certain we can handle this. Our love can survive anything. Maya's expression softened visibly, relief evident. I needed to hear you say that. Sometimes, in moments of weakness, I worry it's too much. But hearing your confidence always reassures me. That night, our conversations stretched late into the evening, reaffirming our commitment, strengthening our bond further through shared vulnerability. We vowed to communicate honestly whenever doubts surfaced, promising never to let uncertainty linger silently. Yet despite our reassurances, loneliness lingered subtly beneath every interaction. Missing Maya wasn't merely physical, it was emotional, profound, a longing that became increasingly difficult to ignore. One weekend, unexpectedly free, I decided to surprise Maya by visiting unannounced. Traveling quickly, excitement filled me, heart racing with anticipation at seeing her reaction. Arriving quietly, I knocked softly, heart pounding gently, imagining Maya's joyful surprise. But as the door opened, Maya stood there, clearly distressed, eyes red-rimmed from crying, expression shocked rather than joyful. My heart twisted instantly, concern flooding through me. What happened? What's wrong? Maya hesitated briefly, then gently pulled me inside, closing the door carefully behind us. She sighed deeply, visibly struggling, finally speaking softly, voice trembling slightly. I didn't expect you today, obviously, she began cautiously, carefully choosing each word. And earlier, feeling lonely and exhausted, I broke down. I missed you desperately. I started wondering if we're making a mistake, if distance is hurting us more deeply than we realize. Her words pierced painfully, my breath catching sharply. Yet beneath hurt, understanding lingered strongly. Gently, I stepped forward, carefully taking her hands warmly, meeting her gaze intently. Tell me everything you're feeling, I urged softly, voice gentle yet firm. Maya exhaled shakily, vulnerability evident. It's just hard. Harder than I imagined. Missing you constantly, feeling incomplete without you daily. It's exhausting emotionally. Sometimes I wonder if love alone is enough. Her honesty resonated deeply. I nodded gently, understanding completely, my voice quiet yet resolute. I understand. I feel everything you're describing, but what we share isn't ordinary. It's deep, real, powerful. Distance challenges us, but it also reminds us how rare and valuable our connection truly is. Maya's eyes softened beautifully, gratitude filling her expression instantly. I know you're right. Seeing you now, unexpectedly, it reminds me exactly why every lonely moment is worth enduring. Our weekend passed beautifully, filled with tender reconnection, intense emotional reaffirmation, deeper intimacy forged through shared vulnerability. As I prepared to leave, Maya held me tightly, voice trembling softly, yet deeply resolved. Promise me we'll keep fighting. Promise me we'll never give up on this love. My heart surged fiercely, voice thick with emotion, yet unwaveringly determined. I promise. Distance is temporary, our love permanent. Nothing will change that truth. Returning home, Maya's words echoed gently within me. Each moment of loneliness now carried purpose, reminding me exactly what we fought so fiercely to protect, our rare, beautiful love. Time passed steadily, distance becoming easier to manage gradually. Visits became routine, distance accepted as temporary sacrifice, love growing even deeper through challenges faced courageously together. Eventually, graduation arrived, marking the official end of our separation. Reunited finally, embracing tightly beneath celebratory applause, Maya whispered gently, voice trembling beautifully. We made it. My heart surged powerfully, warmth flooding instantly, voice fiercely proud yet tender. I never doubted we would. Together, we stepped confidently into our shared future, dreams long discussed becoming reality, finally. Distance now only memory, our love having proved its strength undeniably, our hearts bound permanently through struggles faced courageously, challenges overcome together. Maya was mine, undeniably, irrevocably. Together, our future stretched endlessly, beautifully infinite, our love resilient, powerful, eternal. The first night back together in our new apartment felt unreal. After months of distance, after every tearful goodbye and every promise made across flickering screens and airport gates, Maya was finally mine again, fully, wholly, with no train schedules between us, no time zones, no separation. We'd spent weeks searching for the perfect place, somewhere that felt like a beginning, not just a continuation. And now, as we unpacked box after box, laughter echoing off freshly painted walls, it felt like we'd stepped into a life that had waited patiently for us to arrive. I watched Maya move around the kitchen barefoot, her hair twisted into a lazy knot, a soft playlist playing in the background, and my chest ached with quiet, overwhelming love. Every mundane detail felt miraculous. The way she hummed, without realizing. The way she carefully arranged our mugs by color. The way she kept glancing back to me, as if needing to reassure herself that I was really there. And I was. Finally. When she caught me staring, Maya blushed lightly, grinning. What? I shook my head, speechless for a moment. Nothing. Just, I missed this.
You.
This. She walked toward me slowly, her hands still damp from rinsing dishes, and wrapped her arms around my waist, resting her chin against my shoulder. Me too, she whispered. I still wake up expecting to reach for my phone and hear your voice through a screen. It's like my brain hasn't caught up yet. I tilted my head to kiss her hair, breathing her in. We're here now. This is our real life. That night, we fell asleep in our bed for the first time. Not in borrowed space or temporary arrangements, but in our home. Our bodies fit together like memory, every inch of skin familiar and desperately needed. As we lay tangled beneath soft sheets, Maya whispered, "Do you remember the first night I ever crawled into your bed?" I smiled against her shoulder, like it was yesterday. I didn't know what I was doing, she confessed. I told myself I just wanted comfort. I didn't want to admit I needed you. Not just a warm body. Not just a best friend. You. I pulled her closer. And now. She turned toward me, her eyes glassy with emotion. Now I want to fall asleep beside you every night until we're old and soft and boring. I laughed, my throat thick with affection. That sounds like everything I've ever wanted. In the weeks that followed, we built our life piece by piece. Grocery lists and shared calendars, late-night dance parties in the living room, quiet Sundays spent reading side by side. There were challenges too. Learning how to disagree kindly, how to give space when needed, how to love each other not just in the highs but in the mundane. But every challenge was met with patience, with love, with the deep, steady belief that this, us, was worth the work. One evening, months later, Maya came home with a small box hidden behind her back, her smile mischievous, eyes bright with excitement. "Close your eyes," she instructed. I raised an eyebrow, but obeyed. When she told me to open them again, she was holding a key, simple, silver, with a delicate engraving on the handle. "What's this?" I asked, confused. "It's for the studio," she said. "The one down the street. I signed the lease today." My jaw dropped. "You're serious?" She nodded, beaming. "I'm finally doing it. Opening my own practice. My name on the door. And I want you to be part of every step. Help me pick the paint colors. Choose the music for the lobby. Make it ours." I wrapped my arms around her, dizzy with pride and love. "You're amazing," I whispered. "You're brave." She kissed me then, soft and slow. "I'm brave because of you." That night, we celebrated with takeout on the floor, surrounded by half-unpacked boxes and dreams taking shape. We talked about everything, future travels, maybe getting a dog, eventually even kids. Every conversation was laced with laughter and possibility. "Do you think," Maya said suddenly, her voice hushed, "that it would have been different if I hadn't had a boyfriend when this started?" I looked at her for a long moment before answering. "I think it had to happen exactly the way it did. You had to learn what you didn't want, so you could recognize what you did. And I had to wait, as painful as that was. Because now we don't wonder. We know." She nodded slowly, eyes glistening. "I used to fall asleep in your arms feeling safe. Now I fall asleep in your arms and feel like I'm home." I didn't respond with words. I just held her tighter, silently thanking the universe for every painful, messy, beautiful step that brought us here. Our love was not born from ease. It came from tension, from longing, from late-night whispers and unspeakable truths. It was carved from fear and transformed into devotion. And now, it was ours to live out, boldly, honestly, joyfully. Maya fell asleep first, as she often did, her hand curled around mine beneath the sheets, her breathing soft and steady. I stayed awake a while longer, watching the rise and fall of her chest, memorizing the shape of her in the moonlight. And in the quiet, I promised her, again, always, forever, that this was just the beginning. Some endings are loud, marked by goodbyes shouted across crowded terminals, by slammed doors or dramatic speeches. But ours, the ending of the old chapter and the beginning of something infinite, was soft. It was in the quiet moments. In the way Maya looked at me one slow Sunday morning, sunlight warming the sheets, her hair messy, her eyes sleepy, her voice thick with something deeper than just morning affection. "I think we should buy a place," she whispered, almost shy. I blinked, groggy and startled. "Like, a place together?" She smiled slowly, leaning over me, her fingers tracing the curve of my collarbone. "I want a garden," she said, "with lavender and tomatoes. I want space for a dog. I want to paint a wall purple and hate it and repaint it with you. I want roots." Her words settled into my chest like seeds. I felt them take root instantly, growing wild and beautiful with the shape of us. I pulled her close, burying my face in her neck, breathing her in. "Yes," I murmured. "Let's build something permanent." That conversation opened a door neither of us could close. Suddenly, everything became more real, more possible. We started browsing listings, walking through houses hand in hand, imagining our books on the shelves, our art on the walls, our life unfolding room by room. We argued over paint swatches and kitchen layouts. We kissed in empty hallways and danced barefoot on dusty floors. Eventually, we found it a small, sunlit house on a quiet street, with a crooked fence and a magnolia tree in the front yard. It was imperfect and a little too expensive, but it felt like ours. We moved in during the spring, the air warm with possibility. The first night, we lay on the floor of the living room, furniture still in boxes, takeout containers beside us. Maya reached for my hand and whispered, "I can feel the future in these walls." I squeezed her fingers, my chest aching with the weight of everything we'd survived to arrive here. Me too. Our days became rituals. Morning coffee on the porch. Lunch breaks together when possible. Nights curled into each other, limbs tangled, soft music playing in the background. I would catch Maya standing barefoot in the kitchen, humming to herself, and my heart would swell with something that felt like destiny. We made mistakes. We argued sometimes, over dishes, over timing, over stupid things like where the bath mat should go. But every disagreement ended the same way, with understanding, with softness, with apologies whispered against lips and promises pressed into skin. One evening, as we painted the hallway, Maya paused, her roller dripping pale green. She turned to me, her expression unreadable. "Do you ever miss how it used to be?" I looked at her, at the woman who used to sleep beside me in secret, whose boyfriend's name had once been a quiet ache between us. I shook my head.
No.
Not even a little. We were always meant to end up here. Maya smiled then, slowly, like something inside her had just settled for good. We adopted a dog in the summer, a mutt with floppy ears and a dramatic flair. We named her Junie, and she became our shadow, following us from room to room, curling between us at night like a tiny, snoring chaperone. The house filled with laughter, with burnt dinners and movie marathons, and the low hum of contentment. One rainy evening, while lightning lit up the windows and Junie whimpered at our feet, Maya looked at me from across the couch, her face unreadable. "I want to marry you," she said softly. My breath caught. "What?" "Not now," she rushed. "I mean not today.
But someday.
I want forever, with rings and family and vows. I want to stand in front of everyone and say what I already know." My heart burst open. I crossed the room slowly, knelt in front of her. "Ask me again." She blinked, surprised.
What?
"Ask me again, Maya." She laughed through a quiet tear. "I want to marry you." I kissed her, long and deep and slow. Then yes. Now, later, whenever. Yes. We didn't rush it. We let the seasons pass. We kept building our life, stronger each year, our love becoming something vast and certain. By the time the wedding arrived, it felt like a formality. Our hearts had already been pledged long ago, in whispered confessions and sleepy nights, in grocery trips and long-distance calls, in every time she crawled into my arms even when she shouldn't. But it was beautiful, small, honest. Our closest friends, our families, our dog in a flower crown. Maya wore white. I wore navy. We read vows that made people cry. We danced barefoot in the grass, the moon above us, the future wide open. That night, lying beside my wife, I whispered, "Do you remember the first night you climbed into my bed?" She laughed softly. I was so confused. "I wasn't," I said. "I just didn't know how long I'd have to wait for you to see it." She kissed me then, slow and deep, and whispered, "Thank you for waiting." And as I drifted off, her hand warm in mine, our rings catching moonlight, I realized that the hardest things in life, waiting, hurting, hoping, had led me to the easiest truth I had ever known. I loved Maya. I would always love Maya. And she had always belonged in my arms. Thank you so much for your support, whether it's by liking, commenting, sharing, or sending your super thanks. You make all the difference here on the channel. See you in the next video.